Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're cracking open Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic.
Oh, yeah. I love this one.
And I think a lot of people hear Big Magic and kind of write it off as
Yeah, just
another self-help book, Like how to be more creative.
Right.
But we're going way deeper than that. We're looking at the whole philosophy.
Mindset.
Yeah, the mindset behind unlocking your creative potential.
And how to make it a part of your everyday life.
No matter what you do.
Yeah, whether
you think you're an artist or not.
Right.
This is not about becoming the next Picasso.
No.
It's about finding that spark.
That creative spark in the everyday.
So what's the big idea here?
So Big Magic, it's like a
manifesto.
Yeah, it's like a joyful rebellion against this idea of the tortured artist.
The myth of the tortured artist.
Right. We always think that
you have
the artist has to suffer.
Suffer for their art.
Right, to create great art.
Yeah.
But Gilbert's like, no ditch that stereotype.
Creativity
can be fun.
can be.
Playful.
Yeah. Joyful.
Even a little silly.
Yeah. And we don't have to wait for some major heartbreak or struggle to fuel our creativity. We can just pick up a paintbrush and paint.
Just because it's fun.
Yeah, because it makes us happy.
Exactly. Gilbert's all about changing our perspective and seeing creativity as this
it's for
inherent force.
Yeah, it's available.
It's not just for the select few.
Yeah, it's in everyone.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's get into some of the key themes here.
Okay.
One that really jumped out at me was this idea of courage.
Yes, and I think so many people struggle with this.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't say you have to be fearless.
Right.
She says, learn to dance with the fear.
Oh, I like that.
And she even tells this really relatable story about how she had an idea for a novel.
Oh, yeah.
And
for this.
She was too afraid to write it.
Yeah.
And then guess what happened?
Someone else wrote it.
Another author published a book with that exact same idea.
The same concept.
Right. And she was like...
And she was crushed.
Yeah. And her point is fear will always be there.
Yeah.
But we don't have to let it paralyze us.
So it's that whole feel the fear and do it anyway?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's courage.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's this idea of enchantment.
Yes.
Which I thought was a little
mystical.
Yeah, a little mystical.
But enchantment is basically about viewing inspiration not as something we force.
Okay.
But as something we're open to receiving.
So
imagine these ideas are sparks of energy just floating around, looking for someone to bring them to life.
So instead of trying to squeeze ideas out,
right,
we become these lightning rods.
Yes.
For inspiration.
It's such a beautiful way to think about it.
It really is. And that actually leads perfectly into this other theme of permission.
Oh, yes, permission.
I love how Gilbert's just you don't need anyone's permission.
No jurors, no gatekeepers.
No critics.
No.
If you want to sculpt,
you want to
with mashed potatoes,
yeah,
go for it.
Express yourself.
And I think that is so freeing for people.
Especially
who maybe have been told they're not creative or not good enough.
Right. She's giving everyone a permission slip to just create.
Yes, and that ties into this idea of persistence.
Oh, yes, persistence.
That stick-with-itness.
That's what separates the dreamers from the doers.
Yeah, and Gilbert has this great quote.
She says, you might not be perfect, but you're always enough.
Oh, I love that.
I know, it's so good.
It's you don't have to wait for perfection.
You don't have to wait.
To strike.
Show up.
You just show up even when it's hard. Or you don't let...
Even when the results aren't exactly what you envision.
Yeah, it's about trusting the process.
Yeah, exactly.
And that the magic happens in the middle.
In the messy middle.
Yeah.
The constant creating and refining.
So speaking of trust, trust is another one.
Trusting the process.
Yeah.
Trusting your ideas.
Your own ideas.
Your own abilities.
Believing in yourself.
Yeah, she's believing your potential even when those doubts creep in.
Mm-hmm. So it's not just about having the ideas.
It's about having the confidence.
It's about bringing them to life.
Yeah, that's where the magic happens.
Okay, so we've got courage, we've got enchantment, permission, persistence, trust.
A lot to unpack there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are probably thinking, well, this is great.
Yeah.
But I'm not an artist, so why should I care about all this stuff?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because Gilbert's argument is that cultivating creativity...
Okay.
It's not just about making art.
It's about life.
It's about living a more engaged, joyful, and meaningful life.
So it's less about the product and more about the
process.
The way of being.
Yeah, the way of being.
Okay, I can see that.
think about it, creativity is all about problem solving, thinking outside the box, connecting ideas that seem totally different.
Yeah.
Those are valuable skills in any field.
Right. If you approach a problem at work with a creative mindset,
Right.
you might come up with a more innovative solution.
Yeah.
Or if you bring that playful energy to your relationships.
Yeah, your relationships could become more vibrant.
More fulfilling.
More fulfilling, exactly.
So it's about bringing that spark of imagination
to everything you do.
into everything. And Gilbert's like, this potential for creativity, it exists within everyone.
Okay.
It's not some special talent. It's inherent in all of us.
So it's not like some people are born creative and some people aren't.
It's in all of us, just waiting to be unleashed.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are still thinking like, yeah, but how do I do it?
How do I hack
How do I tap into that creative energy in my daily life?
Right. Well, one of those practical things Gilbert suggests is to make space for creativity.
Okay.
Carve out some time in your day, even if it's just like 15 minutes.
Just 15 minutes.
Yeah, just to do something purely for the joy of it.
Could be doodling, writing in a journal, playing an instrument, whatever lights you up.
So it's like,
But the key is to do it consistently,
yeah.
without judgment or expectation.
So it's like building a creative habit.
It's like going to the gym for your imagination.
Okay.
And the more you do it, the more that creative muscle will develop.
I'd like that.
You'll start to notice ideas popping up more often. You'll feel more confident in your ability to express yourself.
And you'll be surprised.
And you might surprise yourself with what you create.
It's also important to remember what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Embracing imperfection.
Right. We often get paralyzed by this fear of not being good enough or making mistakes.
Yeah.
But Gilbert's whole philosophy is just let go of that pressure.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to play experiment and make a glorious mess.
So shift the focus from the outcome to the process.
From perfection to exploration.
And I think that ties into her advice to follow your curiosity if you're feeling stuck.
What are you interested in?
Yeah. What sparks your imagination?
What lights you up?
Yeah, and then go explore that. Take a class, read a book, watch a documentary.
Talk to someone who's doing something you admire.
Yeah.
It's about letting yourself be led by that inner compass, even if it takes you in unexpected directions.
You never know.
You never know what you might discover.
And I think that's what makes big magic so powerful.
I agree.
It's not just a book about creativity.
It's a book about living a more expansive life.
A more fulfilling life.
About embracing the unknown, trusting the process, allowing yourself to be surprised by the magic that unfolds.
So it's really about saying yes.
Yes.
To the creative.
To life, to possibility.
To possibility, yeah. And it's not always easy.
It's not always easy.
Life gets in the way.
Self-doubt creeps in.
You know, you get discouraged.
You get discouraged.
What would you say to someone who's feeling that way, who's lost touch with that creative spark?
Well, I would say it's okay to feel that way. It's all part of the process. Creativity, it's not a linear path.
Okay.
It's more like a spiral.
Oh.
You know, there will be times when you feel super inspired and energized.
Yeah.
And then there are times you just feel lost and stuck.
Totally.
The key is to not give up.
So how do we navigate those dips?
Yeah, those moments when
You just feel like
the magic feels elusive.
Yeah.
Gilbert really emphasizes the importance of being gentle with yourself.
Okay.
Don't beat yourself up if you're not, feeling creative or producing work you're proud of.
Right.
Just keep showing up.
Even if it's just a little bit.
Yeah, even in small ways.
So maybe like going back to basics.
Yeah.
Revisiting things that have inspired you in the past.
Yeah, or trying something completely new.
Just for the fun of it.
Just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
It's about rekindling that sense of curiosity,
Yeah.
playfulness, allowing yourself to be a beginner again.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Because I think so often we get caught up
In the pressure
to be good at something.
to achieve some level of mastery.
Yeah, but Gilbert's like, no, the real joy is in
In the exploration.
the discovery.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really liberating message.
Especially in a culture that's so focused on
On
achievement and external validation.
You know, we were talking about all this, and I'm realizing that Gilbert's book, it's not just a guide to creativity.
It's like a philosophy for living.
Yeah.
It's about embracing possibility of trusting your intuition and showing up for your life in a more authentic way.
In a more joyful way.
In a more joyful way.
And it's not always easy.
No, it's not.
Life gets in the way, self-doubt creeps in. We get discouraged.
You get discouraged.
What would you say to someone who's feeling that way, who's maybe started to lose touch with that creative spark?
I'd say, just remember that it's okay to feel that way. It's all part of the process.
Yeah.
Creativity isn't a linear path,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
more like a spiral. There are times when you feel inspired and energized, and there are times when you feel lost and stuck.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
The key is to just not give up.
Don't give up on the magic.
Yeah. And Gilbert, she talks a lot about
Yeah.
being gentle with yourself.
Well, yeah.
Don't beat yourself up
Mm-hmm.
if you're not, feeling creative or producing work you're proud of.
Yeah. We're all our own worst critic.
Yeah, and sometimes we just need to, give ourselves a break.
A little grace.
A little grace, yeah.
Yeah. Just keep showing up.
Just keep showing up, even if it's in small ways.
So maybe go back to basics.
Yeah.
Revisit things that inspired you before. Or
Yeah, maybe try something completely new just for the fun of it.
yeah.
Remember that sense of playfulness,
Yeah.
curiosity, allow yourself to be a beginner again.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's so important because we put so much pressure on ourselves.
To be good at things.
Yeah, to be like masters or whatever.
Yeah, to achieve some kind of mastery.
But Gilbert's like, no, no, no. Like the real joy is in the exploration.
The process of discovery.
Yeah. And it's okay to be bad at something.
It's okay to be bad at something.
While you're learning.
While you're learning and growing.
Yeah. And I think that's such a, like I said, liberating message.
Yeah. Especially in a culture that's so obsessed with achievement.
Right.
And, external validation.
Yeah. Like we always have to be producing something.
Showing off.
Showing off. Yeah.
But sometimes the most magical moments happen when no one's watching.
And we're just creating for ourselves.
Yeah, just for the pure joy of it.
I keep thinking about that idea of inspiration as a living force.
Oh, yeah, it's such a beautiful concept.
It's a little woo-woo.
It's a little out there.
But I kind of love it.
It's kind of fun to think about, right?
Yeah, and I think it reminds us that
it's not something we create in isolation.
Yeah.
It's something we co-create with the world around us.
So it's like being open.
It's about being open to receiving those creative impulses, allowing ourselves to be guided by something bigger than ourselves.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So I guess the question for our listeners is, what is that creative spark whispering to you right now?
Yeah, what idea has been nagging at you, just waiting to be brought to life?
Maybe it's time to listen to that voice.
Yeah.
To trust that nudge.
You take a chance.
And take that first step.
And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah, that doesn't have to be a masterpiece.
It just has to be you.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, that's big magic in a nutshell, folks.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into Elizabeth Gilbert's work.
I hope you feel inspired.
Yeah, inspired to embrace your own creative journey.
Wherever it may lead you.
Wherever it may lead.
Until next time, keep creating.
Bye, everybody.